Everybody loves me, including the mob. They used to take me to every hockey game, every football game, anything that happened at Madison Square Garden, any sport. And I'd say to them, I've got to hit those high notes tomorrow. I'm doing 4 shows a day. And I get a little clip on the chin. Yeah, come on, you'll be great, you'll be great. And all I'd have to do for one of the Jewish boys singing my Yiddish mama, and I was in. For an Italian, Duo Sole Mio, they never bothered me. I had their protection. I did a command performance in Chicago for Al Capone, and the mob was there, and when I was called on, when I was announced, some of the boys came right over to the table, lifted me, carried me on their shoulders to a podium where I did my singing.
Everything that I possess, I offer you. Let my dream of happiness come true. I'd be happy just to spend my life waiting at your beck and call. Everything I have is yours, my life, my own.
If you were in with them, and that didn't mean you have to hobnob with them or be with them, just be loved by them. You are protected for life. But if you're not, then be careful, boy. You never know what's going to happen.
You love me truly, I'll never forget the happiness once we knew. I treated you cruelly, and now I regret the heartaches that I caused you. I paid for the lie that I told you, paid with 1,000,000 tears. Why should a moment of madness bring me a lifetime of sadness? I'm sorry now, and darling, I vow I'll die if we ever part. I paid for the lie that I told you. Won't you please take me back, sweetheart?
I was walking along Broadway in front of the Palace Theater. My mind was elsewhere. I was hungry. And suddenly I hear a voice say, "Hi, kid. Remember me? We were..." I said, "Yeah." He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Looking for work." He said, "Why don't you go to CBS and talk to Ralph Wonders, head of the Artist Bureau? Go and tell him I sent you." So I got my arrangement, did the audition. I did one hell of a show. And when the audition was over, Bill Paley said to me, "Arthur, we loved your voice, we loved your rendition, your singing, the songs. I'll give you 6 weeks to do or die. If you do, the sky's the limit. If you die, it's another audition."
I'll sing you 1,000 love songs, and still they'll seem so few. For I need 1,000 voices who tell you how I love you. I've only one heart to give you, one voice to listen to. So I'll bring 1,000 love songs, and I'll sing every one, dear, for you.
I love the air of mystery. So I said to myself, if I'd rather have the people say, I wonder who it is, and the mail started coming in the thousands of letters. He said, big bags the boys would bring me. I must have had at least 30 or 40 different titles. The Night Singer, and I said, wait a minute, I do 10 languages. I do ballads. Why can't I call myself the International Balladeer? And I was stuck with that, because that told the audience what I was doing. I picked up the New York Times, and I'm reading the theatrical column, and I come to an item which says, Freddie Lonsdale, an English playwright, just arrived in New York with a new play to star Guy Robertson and Queenie Smith. The play was called The Street Singer. And I said, why didn't I think of that? But I adopted it then, and for fear I'd be accused of plagiarism, I added the little phrase, since I was on the air, the street singer of the air. I went to Mark's Music, and there I heard this beautiful strain. And I said to the boy behind the counter, I said, Joe, what's going on in there? He said, they're demonstrating new songs. I walked in, and this little man sitting at the piano, the composer who was playing, he was so tiny that sitting on the bench, his feet did not even touch the floor. I said, play it again, please. And he stared at me. So finally an interpreter walked over and said, Mr. Tracy, he doesn't speak English. He's a Cuban, only speaks Spanish. I said, will you ask him to play it again? So he played it again. And I said, I'll buy that song. E.B. Mark said, like hell you do. Demonstrations in my office, I buy it. So he bought it, and I've been collecting royalties now for 62 years.
Now your eyes beam at twilight, sparkling like each dewdrop at dawn. Martha, when I look for your love light, I awake with a sigh, and I find you are gone.
I really made love to the mic, because while I was singing into the microphone, I was conscious of the fact that out in the USA, there were 30 or 40 million people listening in. And the mail that came in was absolutely fabulous. And they would say, we feel like you're singing only to us.
I've only one heart to give you, one voice to listen to. So I'll bring 1,000 love songs, and I'll sing everyone dear for you.
One letter from Toronto said, we used to turn off the radio to play cards, but now we stop playing cards when we know you're coming on. And one man wrote me, he said, I have a candy cigar store, and I have a radio here, so I'm not too lonely. But when you come on, I close my store, I take my radio home so that my wife can listen, and then I come back and reopen the store and continue for the evening. When my program was on the summertime, people would go to a movie and time themselves to get out about 5 minutes to 11. And on the walk home, they say, we never miss your show, because every house that we pass has the street singer on.
By the light of the silvery moon. I want to spoon. To my honey I'll croon love's tune. Honeymoon, keep a shining in June. Your silvery beams will bring love's dreams. We'll be cuddling soon by the silvery moon. By the silvery
moon. And of course, these things are thrilling, and they let you know that the public has taken you to their hearts.
Give me a heart to sing to. Oh, my song you'll never hear, for I must have a heart to sing to. Oh, my song wouldn't be sincere. Give me your love to guide me. Let us find a world apart. And as long as you're there beside me, there'll be melody in my heart.
Sigmund Romberg had just written a beautiful song. And he came to me, he said, Arthur, you're going to England. I've got the song just off the press. I'd like you to introduce it there. I said, what's the title? And he said, When I Grow Too Old to Dream. It was a wonderful title. Now we're in England, the Palladium Theatre. Dickie Crean is conducting, and all through my act, 7 or 8 songs that I sang, I was thinking of When I Grow Too Old to Dream. How am I going to do it? How am I going to introduce it? Then I said, I can't find words even to form a message of thanks, but I do want you to know. Now, the act was over. This is an after-act speech. I want you to know, if I live to be 1,000, I shall never forget your reception. And I stretched the words out, looking at Dickie, leaned over toward him. He got the cue. Never shall I forget your reception, even when I grow too old to dream. And I got the introduction. I said, when I grow too old to dream, I'll have you to remember. When I grow too old to dream, your love will live in my heart. So kiss me, my sweet, and so let us part. And when I grow too old to dream, that kiss will live in my heart. Jimmy Hill, the manager of the theater up in Edinburgh, introduced a man named Oswald Barkley, whom they called O.B. He used to kidnap me every afternoon at 4 o'clock and take me around, and then, of course, we always wound up at his home for dinner. This happened every time I came to Edinburgh. On November the 11th, when they put the wreath on the epitaph of the unknown soldier, suddenly Jimmy Hill, the manager, said to me, you're going to be presented to the Prince of Wales. Now suddenly, O.B. appears. And Jimmy Hill said to me, you know who O.B. is, don't you? Well, he is the equerry to the Prince of Wales, and he arranged it.